Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rum and a Couch video number 55. Dave here from Manchester Rum Festival. For this episode I wanted to showcase a brand that I was reintroduced to last night, and that is Nusa Cana from Indonesia. Now these guys actually came involved with our Rum Fest back in 2019, so the last edition I was able to put together for you all. And it had a very good response, and I feel like it was also down to the way the bottle looked, but also I feel like the more historical impact it has on the rum industry. I've got their original bottling, but I've also got one that was released, I want to say it was last year, which is their spice rum. I've actually saved the spice rum. I didn't have it last night when Sam of Nusa Caña was going through with his new imports team, which is 10 Locks, based here in Manchester itself. So thank you guys for sending me some bottles to reintroduce myself. But Sam was going through with a couple of VIP bartenders and bar operators here in Manchester and London, the kind of history, the historical elements, and the impact that Indonesia has had on rum and sugarcane as an ingredient as well. It was very, very interesting to sort of understand. I knew the vast majority in terms of an overview, but to hear some more of the insights towards it, I won't go through it now. I've only got 15 minutes. But I would definitely say, if you get the chance to meet Sam, do sit him down, grab yourself a glass of this rum, and really just get yourself immersed into what Indonesia and the impact it's had on the rum and the things like Iraq as well. I never realised how premium Iraq was seen in the 15, 16, 1700s. It was, on level par with the likes of cognac, which I'm sure if you know your history of spirits, that was like the mecca at the time. So it was interesting to sort of understand that. And it put a lot more context behind the rum, which is kind of what I wanted to get involved with, because if I don't understand what the rums are all about when they come to my rum fest, then I don't want them to be at my rum fest. I've got to get behind them so you guys have what's the word to use, sort of a more of a friendly understanding that the guy who owns the rum fest actually knows what he's on about. And that's what I've always prided myself in, whatever I do in regards to my work. So I poured some of the Nusa Caña into my glass, 37.5% ABV this one, and it's actually distilled in Java itself in Indonesia, but it's bottled in Holland. And to be fair, everything that sort of came from Indonesia back in the day was taken over to Holland, distributed around to the likes of London, to the likes, well, I was presuming Paris as well, as and when the French wanted to take in anything that wasn't cognac and brandy. But I'm intrigued about this because, like I say, I've come across it before and it was great to sort of reintroduce. And it's something I recommend to anyone. If you're not a massive fan of something, say the very first time you have it, doesn't mean you'll be a massive fan of it the next time. Could be a couple of weeks, couple of months, couple of years. I've noticed over the last several years that my palate's changed over time. I may pick up on some more nuances in regards to maybe a flavour profile I wasn't a fan of, and now I actually quite enjoy it, but I'm understanding more on the spice element. I'm not a massive fan of spice rum, me. I don't like spices as on its own sort of scenario, but I can appreciate what the spice rum flavours are all about now, and I can get into them a little bit more. So I would always say go back to something. An Indonesian rum is not perhaps the flavour profile you'd expect it to be, I feel, but it's not something to dismiss either. We could do the same with the likes of cachaça from Brazil, agricole from the French West Indies like Martinique and Guadeloupe and so on. It's not as scary as it could sound just because it uses a sugarcane juice, for example, in not sugarcane molasses like the vast majority of rums. So I'd always recommend to give anything a go. And I feel like the sort of way the bottle looks, very, very traditional sort of design work. Even the bottle itself, it's got a, what's the word to use, like an embossment towards it. It's care and attention, so it cannot be understated to just instantly dismiss it. Anyway, I poured some rum. That was a bit of a rant there, I apologise, but I poured some rum into my glass, and I have to admit it's incredibly clean. You do get the cane juice coming across. You get a little bit of I'd say ripe banana. Small hint of coconut, there's like a dry spice in there, a little bit of ginger sort of profile, but quite underlining towards it. All right, let's give it a go. It was actually getting quite, the sugarcane juice, that fresh cane juice. It's the very first thing that comes to my mind. But in my mouth, it was developing all, straight away. I actually needed to swallow it quite quickly because the flavoursome felt like it was just going to burst out, which is really good. Quite young. Has a little bit of Caribbean rum in here to blend it together as well. And I think with that, it's offering that sort of slightly smoother profile. It's a very easy rum to drink, this. I was going to say crisp, but I feel like crisp is not the word to use now. It's kind of like a young apple element towards it. You kind of get the skin, you do get a crispness towards it, but it's a lot softer. A little bit of dry wood. I get that kind of vanilla pod feel to it as well. Very, very long profile. I'd say the banana is still there from the nose, but I'm getting more banana leaf now for this one. Kind of plantain chip. A little bit dry at the end. There's something there. I'm trying to think what it is. No, it's not coming to my mind, but there's definitely something else there near the end as well. So this is actually using, like I say, it's distilled on Java. It uses Javanese sugar molasses, not the juice, but the molasses, despite having that fresh sugarcane juice profile. It uses natural forest filtered water, and also, a little bit of misconception here, it uses wild yeast that's grown on dried red rice, slowly fermented, so very, very natural profile to this one. Distilled twice in pot stills. I'm going to try multitask here. And then matured in large Javanese like teak wood, which I've never seen before. I saw a couple of photos yesterday on the presentation Sam did. But it's transported to Holland to carry on that, I think it's like 250 years with, shall we say now, tradition of, well, essentially what they used to do back in the day. So it's, like I say, a fascinating introduction to what Indonesia's impact has. And Indonesia itself is seen as sort of essentially the biggest impacts in regards to the spice trade. So it makes a lot of sense for them to create a spiced rum. This is 40% ABV, so a little bit higher than the white or young rum. Remember, we've got to try and get away from saying the word white rum. It's clear, it's young, and it isn't the colour white. So like I say, 40% ABV. I'm loving the fact, bringing back the forgotten story of Indonesian rum. Fantastic. Okay. Wow, that's fresh. That's definitely very, very fresh. So there's 6 different ingredients in here. I've written them down because I knew I'd forget by last time. So we have nutmeg and clove. We have, what we got here? Ginger, coffee, cacao, and pineapple. So lots of different sort of styles of fruit and spices, excuse me, within that. And they all come across, is very, very fresh on the nose. Yet the sweetness of the pineapple coming through. The nutmeg and clove, they're not my favourite, but they're definitely there. And a bit more of the underlining style to it. You get the cacao. I mean, I love cacao. It's definitely there. More very, very subtle. It's nothing that's too impact. Pineapple's the one that comes to mind straight away. And the pineapple's still there on the palate. In fact, it's a lot more like grilled pineapple now. The spice is the same blend as this one, the original, shall we say. And you can tell because you can still taste the rum, but wow, that pineapple, the cacao, that ginger's really coming through nicely. Quite dry on the mid palate, to be fair. You get a bit more of a bolder note of the cacao, that coffee, but it always seems to come back to that grilled pineapple. Very, very juicy, slight more caramelized element towards it, but that's a good spice rum. And something that Sam saw, I'm just going to get their website up now for a couple of cocktail ideas, because again, it sort of serves that I would never have, well, wouldn't say I would have thought about them, but made sense. Now I've got a good, better understanding of what the Indonesian rum's all about from last night's presentation. So it has things like the Spice Island Punch, bit of spice rum, Darjeeling tea, lemon juice, pineapple juice, and a spice syrup, all thrown into a punch bowl that can serve, say, 4 or 5 people. The treacle, which is sort of like an apple juice twist on an old-fashioned. Mai Tai, that would make a beautiful Mai Tai. The dryness of that with the oil sheets and the lime juice, sorry. But last night was a big focus on the daiquiri. And we did a daiquiri challenge, shake-off sort of profile. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it. I'm not set up for daiquiris, and we were unfortunately in the midst of getting things all set up for moving house. So I had to shoot off on that element, but it was great to see that the daiquiri is kind of their focus. Usually it's more the tropical focused cocktails that you see in competitions that brands do for bartenders. But it's rare you actually see a daiquiri, and maybe it's just down to how simple it is. It's rum, lime and sugar, done. But there are some fantastic twists, and a pineapple daiquiri is one they focus on here with the spice rum as well. Spiced lime, pineapple juice, sugar syrup, and a couple of pieces of pineapple wedge thrown in as well for a beautiful looking garnish. So it really adds that more traditional feel to it, yet bringing it for the modern 21st century at the same time. I'm still getting the spiced grilled pineapple on my palate here as well. It's a very, very long, more subtle profile, but it's definitely still there. I'm liking this a lot. So, ladies and gents, hopefully that's giving you guys a better idea of what Nusa Cana is all about. Check these guys out if you're intrigued about the Indonesian styles of rum. Excuse me. Available on the likes of Master Malt and Whiskey Exchange. Pop into Tipples in Manchester. If they haven't got it on the shelves at the moment, they will definitely get it in, I'm sure. And of course, if you do have the opportunity to give it a go, let me know what you think in the comments of the video here, whether you're seeing this on YouTube, on Instagram or on Facebook. Let me know if you enjoy any sort of style of cocktails from it. I'd like to say, obviously, big thank you for Sam for reintroducing me to what Nusa Cana and Indonesian rum is all about last night. And of course, thank you for the team at 10 Locks with Penny, Becky and Sinead for sending me some bottles to, like I say, reintroduce myself to what Nusa Cana is all about. And I feel like it's got a very good opportunity to really impact itself onto the UK market scene. Fingers crossed it will be involved with Manchester Rum Festival again in later this year. Fingers crossed. If not, it will definitely involve with 2022's iteration. So enjoy, and ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, your evening, whatever time you're watching this. The rest of your weekends. There may be a slightly longer gap now between the videos as I move place and get myself same couch, different back wall. That's the best way I can describe it. And I will see you all on the other side. Enjoy.